known as the Purple Heart has a history that reaches back to the waning days of the American Revolution. The Continental Congress had forbidden General George Washington from granting commissions and promotions in rank to recognize merit. Yet Washington wanted to honor merit, particularly among the enlisted soldiers. So on August 7, 1782, his general orders established the badge of military merit. This award was open only to enlisted men and granted them the distinction of being permitted past all guards and sentinels, much as the commissioned officers. Washington stated that the award was to be a permanent one, but once the revolution ended, the badge of merit pretty much was forgotten until the 20th century. General John Blackjack Pershing suggested a need for an award in 1918, but not until 1932, which seems right for those in the military, that the Purple Heart was created in recognition of Washington's ideals and the bicentennial of his birth. General Order Number 3 announced the establishment of the award by order of the Secretary of War, General Douglas MacArthur. The Purple Heart has undergone many changes with respect to the criteria for being awarded. At first, the Purple Heart was exclusively awarded to the Army and Army Air Corps personnel and could not be awarded posthumously to next of kin. In 1942, President Franklin Roosevelt signed an executive order allowing the Navy to award the Purple Heart to sailors, Marines, and Coast Guard personnel, all contained within the Department of Navy, sorry. So, also in that year, the Purple Heart was made available for posthumous award for anyone killed on or after December 7th, 1941, which we all know what incident was. The Purple Heart, per regulation, is awarded in the name of the President of the United States to any member of the armed forces of the United States who, while serving under competent authority in any capacity, was one of the U.S. Armed Services after April 5th, 1917, has been wounded, killed, or died after being wounded. Following World War II, the Cold War, and the changing nature of warfare and military operations, additional criteria were specified to broaden availability of the Purple Heart, including domestic acts of terrorism, some of the things that we are seeing here today. Regardless of any of the circumstances, the men and women who receive this award will always have my respect and appreciation for their sacrifices.
The city's always making sure that the veterans are taken care of and recognized, from the stuff that we've done there. Fountain Lake, changing the name to Veterans Memorial Park, and now Chief approached us about putting in the special spot for wounded veterans. So, to recognize our veterans is extremely important, and especially those that have been wounded and recognized with the Purple Heart medal. So we're real happy to do it, proud for their service, and it's just a small token, but hopefully it goes a long way to show some appreciation.
Specifically, the combat wounded veterans, they're coming back by the thousands. So over the past decade, just hundreds of thousands of troops have gone over and come back, and many of them are coming back injured, either physically or emotionally, and they deserve our support. As a veteran, as the police chief here in Leesburg, it was my pleasure to be able to, I was honored to be able to do something small for them, some token. Providing this combat wounded veteran parking space in front of our police department, which is a government building, allowing for those folks to have a little bit easier access to government, I think is hugely important.
Being a police officer, part of our job, part of our responsibilities is community outreach. One of the manners in which we can reach out to the community is through dedicating this location here for wounded veterans. Being a member of the military and understanding the criteria for receiving the Purple Heart, it gives me great honor to go ahead and recognize those who have been issued a Purple Heart. This is an opportunity for us to recognize those and pay tribute to those who have served and were wounded in combat.